Hey guys, Tepco Cycle Repair. So I'm heading back into the shop right here. I got a 2004 CRF 250R that's really hard to start. I mean, you kick it. You finally get it started, but it's after a whole lot of kicking. And usually with these, when you're starting to have that problem with them not starting up easy, it's going to be usually valve adjustment. If everything else is good in the bike, you know, you were talking about valve adjustment. Now, if you got other issues, big issues, okay, it's going to be something different. But, you know, whenever you got a bike that's really hard to start, and you have everything, you know the carburetor is good, you got that all set right, you did all your checks and everything, and it's still hard to start, it's usually going to be low compression. And low compression on these bikes is caused by these valves getting out of spec and staying open a little bit and losing all your compression out of the valve. So let me do a quick valve adjustment on this thing now, and I'll show you how it is trying to start it before the valve adjustment, and then I'll show you after the valve adjustment. Stand by. Pretty much you do that for like 15 minutes and it might start. So let's get it fixed. Alright, so before we do the valve adjustment, I always like to check leak down. And this is the leak down we're getting right now. Okay, about 84% leak down. And we're coming out of the intake. You can hear it loud as day in there, which is what I expected because of the gaps. So let's go ahead and change this out and see what better results we can get. Alright guys, so this is where we're at here. I got the tank seat off. I got the valve cover off. There's just two 10mm on there. And I take it off. Now I got it set at top dead center. So if you look at the lobes right there, they're up and back. Alright, that's where they should be right there. And you do that by taking the spark plug out to make it easy for you to turn. And then you take off the side cover right here. And if you look inside, there's a dot. There you go, on that tooth in there. And you need to line that up with the point right here. So when you get that, come up here, make sure those valves are where they should be. The lobes on the cam are pointing up and backwards, okay? So they're not lifting anything right now. They're just out of the way. And you want to start checking your valves. So for the intake side, okay, so here's our intakes. All right, so this is the Unicam system. Here's our intakes here, and this is our exhaust. Our exhaust cam works this, which pushes the exhaust valves over there. So looking at these two right here, they're supposed to be anywhere between 0.004 and 0.006. And what I'm getting here is the right side intake. This is a 0.002. It's the smallest feeler gauge that I have. All right, 0.002 inches there. So when you try to slip this underneath this right side intake, it doesn't even go. So what we have here is probably this valve being held open. This side here goes in easy. I can put a 4 underneath this one. So that one's not too bad. Alright, so here's a 004. And that 4 is really tight. So this is probably a 003 right here because the 2 fits in. So we got a 003 and probably a 0 right here. So we're going to pull this out and reshim it. And the exhaust side's a 0.008 to 0.011. And this fits at 8 perfectly. If I get underneath there, it's right there. All right, so there's our 8. Just a little bit of drag on it, just the way it should be. Fits perfect. And I can't get a 9 in there, so we're good on the exhaust. All right, so with these manual cam chain tensioners, you can just loosen these 8mm and get this thing loose, so it's just kind of not holding any tension against it. So we have slack in our chain now. And then you got to take off these 4 10mm on the caps. And make sure you take a paper towel or something or a rag and stuff it down in here because there's 2 bearing retainers that are in here. They're like thin clips. I'll show you when I get them out. But they tend to kind of stick either onto the bearing or onto the cap, and you pull them off and they want to jump down in there. If they do, it's not the end of the world. Just drop a magnet down there. They're metal and you're able to pull them out. So let's go ahead and get these off. It'll end up just popping off. So when you take these off, these are different lengths. The bolts, the longer ones are in the front and the shorter ones are in the back. All right, you're just wiggling around. You can take the bolts and kind of put them in halfway here and grab the 2 bolts and just kind of wiggle it back and forth so you get some traction there because, you know, it's covered with oil. All right, now let's pull it off and pay attention to that bearing retainer I was telling you about. Okay, and there it is. Look, it's trying to jump on me right now. See that? Right there. And that's what'll, if you're not careful, that will jump out and fall down in your head. Then you got to fish it out. So there's one. Let's grab the other side. All right, bolts out and retainer. All right, so at this point here we have the cam chain loose. We got the caps off. We have our let me take that out also. We have our caps underneath here where we got to get our shims out of. Okay, they're below this. So you can take this cam right now. All right, and you can kind of wiggle it and move it up out of the way. So what you can do here, as long as you don't lose tension on the chain, it doesn't fall down, you can put a little mark on the side of it. So I'm going to put a little mark on here so we make sure that we don't jump any teeth, and then I'll move this cam out of the way, and we'll get the caps out, and I'll show you what shims we got in there. All right, so I got marks in here, guys, and a quick note about marks on here. When you put marks on here, these are just to help you get it back together again. You should always check your timing and everything afterwards. Don't assume because you got these lined up that the bottom side is lined up. These have a guide in here that helps it from coming off. It usually doesn't come off, but you always want to check your timing. Don't go just by those marks on there when you put things back together again, okay? But we got those on there to help us out. All right, so these bearings are replaceable, so you can slide them out of the way. I slid that out of the way, and that gives you some room on the cam here. And then you can take the camshaft and just kind of... Now, you can lift it up out of the way and get the cups from underneath there, or you can pull the chain. If you pull the chain, make sure you tie it to something so it doesn't drop. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the chain out of the way and go ahead and... let me see. Yeah, I'll get the chain out of the way, and we'll move the cam so I can pull those shims out. All right, so with the cam out, you want to check all your lobes here, make sure there's no excessive wear. All these look good. The exhaust one, just you can see some discoloration just from, you know, regular normal use. If there's no grooves or anything in there, make sure your bearings are still spinning good and not crunchy, no noise. Make sure everything is looking good on here. Here's your decompression, auto decompression lever. Make sure that's working good, and you can see how that works, the actual decompression here. All right. Make sure that works there. Make sure everything is moving good, and then we'll get on to pulling these caps out with our spacers. All right, so for pulling these out, I'm just using a magnet, and I just take it and stick it on the cap, and the shim and everything should come up with it. All right, so the cap came up with the shim still sitting in there, see it? And this is what it looks like inside the cap. And we still got to get that shim out of there, so let's grab that. All right, and the same on the other side. We got the shim with that one too, see? There it is. All right, so now we got to measure the shims. Again, I don't like to go by the numbers. I have a previous video on that. You don't want to go by the numbers that are on there. You want to go ahead and look at the actual size with the caliper. So I'm going to measure these and see what we got. We already know what our gaps are. Remember, this side was a 0, and this side was a 003. So let's start with that. All right, these are my numbers. The only tricky part is going to be the right side intake because I can't get anything underneath there, so I'm going to assume that's 0. So I'm going to put a 149 in there, and I'm going to put a 179 on the left side, and that should bring me down to the 006 range. So I have I got my 149, 148 shim here. Measures 148 and 149 right there for the right side, and then the 179. Now again, we talked about numbers in my other video. This is a 1.85 measuring a 179. And this one here, which is measuring a 149, is a 155. So make sure you measure them before you put them in. I'm going to go ahead and drop these in now and see what we get. All right, new shims in. Drop the cups on here. And these fit in here tight, all this stuff. So when you put it in, you want to make sure that you get it lined up right, and then it'll slide down in there. All right. Boom. All right, let's do the other one and get this cam back in. All right, so I got the cam back in. You see I got my marks lined up there, but I also have these marks. You see that little tiny mark right there, and then there's one right there. They need to be lined up with the valve cover base right here, the mating surface there. All right, and then on the other side, we want to line up that pin right there with the arrow. So right now the cam chain tensioner is out. It's loosened up all the way. So with the tensioner back in, everything will be nice and tight. And then we'll put the caps back on. And when you adjust them, make sure you put your caps back on and you rotate it a full rotation before you check your valves, because you want everything to get pushed down into place. So let me get that done. All right, so these are torqued to 12 foot-pounds. Whenever I do anything like below 15 foot-pounds, I like to convert it to inch and use an inch torque meter. An inch-pound torque meter seems more accurate to me when you get down that low. I'm using this one here, this Tektron one. I have it set to 144 inch-pounds. There's your Newton meters right there. All right, and this is they're all torqued down. Just go a little bit on each one, and then just go back and forth, and they click. Check them. Make sure you get them torqued right. Let's rotate the engine and check our gaps. All right, I got both the intakes to 006, so let's go ahead and throw a leak down on it and see what it looks like. All right, got the leak down on it now from 84% down to about 6%, and you can hear it coming out of, that's past the rings right there, but 6%, I wouldn't be changing any rings or anything. That's looking good right there, so let's fire it up, see how it does. 7 foot-pounds, valve covered bolts. All right, guys, now that the valves are back in spec, let's give it a shot and see how it starts. Oh yeah, you can feel it. All right, guys, that's it. So you went from a almost a no start to a one kick start. I mean, that's the difference that a valve adjustment can make. If you're having a hard time starting your CRF, even in the cold, I know some people say that if it starts easy when it's cold and bad when it's hot, that's a sign of the valve's going bad, and it is, because they heat up and expands and it starts to open your valves. But this is another sign of here. When they start to get bad and you're trying to start it when it's cold and it doesn't start, you need to check your valves and get them adjusted properly. I got these intakes both set at 0.006, so they are good to go. And you saw that there, one kick start, guys. Hopefully this helps you out, get your bike started, get you back to the trails and riding. Please subscribe for me, it really helps me out. Hit the bell for further notifications, hit the like button. Until next time, guys, this is TEPCO Cycle Repair.